I kind of want to go back to something that Mistaken said earlier, and I think it got over missed.
Okay.
I mean, like this has been a really good build up to this point, but I want to kind of highlight. Mistaken brought up, a lot of people today, uh, you know, why would they want the cow when they get the milk? Why, what I'm saying? Why pay full price when you're getting everything at a discount rate? And one of the things that sums it up was that a lot of people don't want the responsibility. We need to highlight the responsibility. People today don't want responsibility. People want all the benefits that life has to offer in all the qualities and all the intangibles of a relationship without having to be responsible. This is why such an uptick in mistresses. There's an uptick in women being side chicks because they don't have to be there all the time. They could just come and go as they please. A lot of people are starting to want to be in the revolving cycle of not having to invest anything. And I think that's a big problem. I think that's a huge problem in our society. Mistaken, you're off mute. I think that's a huge problem in our society that a lot of people are not really devoted to anything, and there's no sense of responsibility, right? That responsibility, what I'm saying, it starts to be something that happens in the home and sort of what are people taught, how people are cultured, how people are raised. What I'm saying, that sense of responsibility, and a lot of people are moving and floating through life without that, and sort of this is where that shows up in the relationship. Like, I just want these things from you. I don't want to do these things. That, what I'm saying? A lot of people are okay with receiving, but when it's time to give, they have a very difficult time, given the sense of time, given the sense of, presence, what I'm saying, and any other aspects, right? Loving, nurturing, etc. And we've kind of normalized this in a way a little bit too comfortably nowadays that a lot of people are viewing this in like they don't want to be involved even at a young age. Even at a young age, if we really want people to thrive and be married, we have to teach people how to be responsible and be good stewardships of relationships young, so when they get to a certain point where they're ready, they can hop over that next line or that next chapter in their life. But unfortunately, that's not really what's pushed.
I
All
got a
right, let's
I
get
do have a
hold on, Smitty. Hold on,
how about
Smitty. Let's
you?
get Kim. Let's get Kim and Shannon there. Go ahead, Kim.
So this is for JR. So you originally said you don't really see the point in people dating like just for companionship, right? Did I understand you correctly?
No, I didn't say. I just asked the question.
Right. Like,
Why do people date if the goal is not marriage?
so do you think, and I'll direct it towards you just to hear what you have to say. So do you think when women aren't dating for marriage, it's to their detriment, if that's not the end goal? And I'd like to hear what Hank thinks too.
If I had to answer that, I think that women are emotional beings, and so if they are having intercourse while they're dating, then they are creating soul ties with multiple people. So, which to me sounds like you probably be unstable because your emotions are vested in like so many people, and it just keeps accumulating. So I would think that if you're, I mean, like Sweeney said, you can be friends, you can go out and hang out and travel and do all of that as friends, but what's the point of dating?
Hank, what do you think?
I don't think Hank's here. Yeah, he left for a second. He's not here.
What do you think, Sweeney?
All right. To Clout's point, and I'm gonna answer your question in this way, right?
Okay.
I think he is absolutely right that a lot of y'all don't actually need marriage to move. Y'all can date if y'all want to and get all the similar things that you may want out of the situation. But given what people want when it comes to encountering people that they want to be with, if everybody did what they were supposed to, did what was intended to be done within a marriage, we wouldn't be complaining. If we know that marriage is a certain set of rules and guidelines and things you're supposed to abide by while within that marriage, if people did what they were supposed to do and people were honest about, and people, you know what I mean, followed God, so to speak, because I'm not really that religious, but let's say you do it the way God, by the way that God intended for you to be married, we wouldn't be complaining. Marriage relationships would be going perfectly fine. However, to answer your question, do I think it's advantageous for women to date? Or you said, do I believe that it's to your detriment to date?
Like to casually date if marriage is not the end goal.
If marriage is not the end goal, I guess it doesn't really matter. Unless I would say the only way that is not advantageous is if you're looking for somebody to follow a certain subset of rules that you want out of that situation. If you casually dating and you say, I don't care what you do, I'm gonna do what I do, and I don't expect anything of you other than to be here for me in this moment while we're dating, while we're maybe on this date, or while we may be in bed together. That's all I expect of you. If that's your expectation of the men that you encounter, do you. But I would argue that I don't think most women date with that mindset. They expect something from men. And I would believe that if you expect something from men, then it wouldn't be that advantageous for you to just date around if marriage isn't the goal. Because there's always another person, because just like you can make any try love decision that you want to make, the other person can make the same decisions as well. And when they feel like you're no longer necessary in their life, it's going to hurt you when they cut you off just as quickly as it would hurt them if you cut them off.
Okay, we're gonna have Pink answer that question, then we're gonna go to Chamonix. I think the question is, why is it bad for women to date with marriage not being the goal?
Why is it bad? And marriage is not the.
Like, is it more detrimental for a woman? Because we know, like, the consequences for a man is different versus a woman. Y'all spoke earlier on how, past mistakes. I think y'all mentioned cycles and things like that. So it seems like I would conclude that it seems like the general consensus would be for a woman to casually date and her not aiming towards marriage is going to be looked at differently, right? Versus a young man makes mistakes, gets it together, goes on and becomes marriage minded. Both have passed, but we as a society know it is held differently, right? I'm going to be held to a different standard because I'm a woman who's going to be sought after and chosen. I don't get to do the choosing when it comes to marriage.
So why is it bad for women to? Okay. So the reason I think is because that's a lot of experiences you in situations you put yourself in, your body through, your mind through. That's why I think it's bad. Why if you're not looking to settle that? Because when I think of dating, you're not committed to anyone besides yourself. You're just committed to that situation at that moment, at that time. But then when that time changes and the night's over with and the 20 minutes is done, you're going to move on to the next one and to the next one and to the next one. And for a woman to put herself through those multiple experiences, I don't think that's good or healthy mentally as well as physically. Not for anybody. Not even for a man, that's not good either, but especially for a woman to put herself with all those different bodies, experiences, and situations.
That's fair.
All right, go ahead, Shan.
Did you want Cloud to answer that question? I didn't want to jump.
No. You can go, Shan. I had something else to add, but you go.
Okay, so a few things, right? I think so. I'm gonna be real. And I heard Kim's question. I think there's two different types of dating. I think there's a woman who is actively dating, but she's trying to find the love. She's trying to find the person to marry. So
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so she can't help that she's there because you have to date to see if you're compatible with somebody. Then there's a woman who's just dating out here having fun, no intent. Those are two different types of women, right? And I do believe that just because you're dating doesn't mean you have to sleep with someone. Okay, so you can be an honest dater, go in with an intent, not trying to use anybody. You're just really trying to find your perfect match. Two different people. I think that the person who does not do that If you're talking about on the biblical, the biblical sense, I do think there's something wrong with that, especially if you follow the Bible. That means you're the Jezebel in the situation. Whether we like it or not, that's what you are. Okay. So if you go to church every Sunday, when they get to that portion of the Bible, they're talking about you. Okay. Maybe you don't want to be that person, and maybe you want to be a changed woman. And so you should not be dating and giving people your body, which leads to clout. That's why we have the clouts, because you're dating and you're giving people all the privileges without the commitment. He's getting what he wants, and you're getting nothing in return. He's getting everything poured into him, and you can't even get what you want at the deal.
True.
So he's the only one winning in this situation. And what has happened is we are starting to bring out the sorry man. They're sorry men. I'm sorry, I'm not trying, not personally to you, Cloud, but it's sorry. You don't want responsibility. You want something easy for you.
Who said that?
You don't. It's a sorry man. When I was growing up, you looked at the man. He was the head of the household. He had a family, something to trickle down to. You're sitting here. We always talk about money, right? Years to come, your money is not going to be what keeps your name alive. It's your family, your legacy. So 4 generations down, it ain't your money. It's your last name. So if you want to rock your father's last name the way you rocking your father's last name, knock yourself out. But there's no privilege to that. You just run this thing solo. This is my last point. I'm gonna stop. I think that when attractive people date, they have this thing in their mind that they're gonna be attractive forever. And one day you're gonna wake up and that attraction is not gonna be there, and you're gonna find all them options you used to have gonna start to trickle on down. And now you just earnest down the street wearing the alligator shoes, trying to holler at a 15-year-old, and they looking at it like you.
What's got to be 15 now?
Okay, 18-year-old, and you the creep on the street. Because guess what? I believe that beauty is a talent, and when you abuse it, you lose it. You get the worst thing you can do to yourself is to believe that there's always another opportunity. When God gives you a blessing and you don't agree with that blessing, He gonna stop giving them to you. Because you ain't doing nothing with the blessings He's giving you. Why would He continue to give you more? So I'm just saying, you getting older. And by that 50, JR look good for his age. It don't always work out there. That's a small percentage of people after a certain age, they still look young. You understand what I'm saying? So when you start to creep up there in the age, them women gonna start just falling down unless them pockets is just right. And as far as Elon Musk thing, when he was building his empire, all the men who build an empire, most of them had a woman beside them. He may be divorced now because now he's got it, but there was a woman along the way that helped him get to where he was going to get. And let's not forget that. I'm done.